each market is different. And because I work in different markets, I work hard on a market analysis. I look at the recent sales in the neighborhood. I go out a few miles, I'll go out of the area if I need to. But really, the most important thing is to look to see what is happening in your neighborhood and in your area in the last, when I pull it 30, 60, and 180 days. I want to see what's active because that's what your competition is. If I have to, and when I see a house that's for sale and I have a seller who says, well, my house is the nicest house in the neighborhood, and I'm looking at that house and I see another one that's listed, and everybody always knows about the neighbors' houses. They always say, oh, but that house isn't really as nice as it looks. Those pictures look better and it's not really that big and my house is much nicer. Well, when I have a seller who's adamant about those types of things, I take a day and we go visit the competition. And then all of a sudden, they start to look at things a little bit differently. And they're like, yeah, well, maybe I'll replace that carpet. Yeah, my dogs have made a mess on that. So those are the kinds of things I love to do that because it's, when I come up with a number, it's based on fact, and I don't give a specific number. It's a range, and it's a range between the lowest and the highest. And you as the seller decide where you want to list. And I make it very clear at that point, if you list too high, you're not going to get anybody to look. And if you list too low, there is no too low because agents know the market. More than agents, buyers know the market because they've been looking in the area, most likely. So they know exactly what the houses are going for. And they are ultimately the buyer. So a house is going to sell what the buyer is willing to pay for. And I'm pretty good about letting the sellers know, hey, this is what the market's going to bear. Here's your competition. So what does your house look like? Why would somebody want this house over this house? We have to make it appealing. And, sometimes it's a matter of in the wording of when I list a property, it could be something. I try to get to know what it is that the seller loves about their home. Why did they buy their home in the first place? And then I go off of that and use that as my in the remarks. I also try to complete all of the disclosures. I know it's painful for some sellers, and I only think that because a lot of agents don't do it. And it's important to fill out a disclosure with information about the property. It brings in less questions in the long run, and it just makes it more comfortable for the potential buyer to know that, hey, I'm looking at this house and they've already disclosed to me that this was done and, A, B, and C were done. So I love that part of it. And to me, it's extremely important to make sure that you can disclose as much information as possible. Katie, of course, my daughter is an attorney, so including a deed is always important because I pull that up just to see. Sometimes there's things that are listed in the deed that are important factors that for someone to know about the house. Name of the actual seller. I actually have gone on a listing appointment before by a seller. It was two sellers and significant other kind of a situation. But anyway, I went to the house. The person that invited me, I had to be nice and say, your name isn't even on the deed. So that was a shock. And then, but it worked out really well. But those are things that we as agents need to look for and try to coach our clients along because sometimes it's hard to remember everything that needs to be done when you're a buyer or a seller. And that's what an agent does. The agent comes in and helps them realize this is the things that we need to do to get your house sold. Top dollar, or, if you're just looking to get rid of it. I mean, those are things that you need to decide how you want to approach it. And I just work along with you because I present the facts, not my opinion. My opinion isn't going to sell your house, but the facts will.